Preston's hands shake around his phone in a Dallas hotel room at 11:47 p.m. The camera feed from Wyatt's nursery back in Connecticut glows blue on the screen. His son sits motionless in that damn wheelchair, staring at nothing like he's done for 8 months since the crash killed his mother and shattered his spine. Then Paige walks in. The new caregiver kneels beside the wheelchair, eye level, just like she promised during the interview. Preston watches her smile, soft, real, and lean close to Wyatt's ear. Her lips move. Wyatt's face changes. Preston's breath stops because his son is laughing. Actually laughing. The sound doesn't reach the microphone clearly, but Preston sees Wyatt's shoulders shake, sees his mouth open with joy Preston hasn't witnessed in forever. Tears burn Preston's eyes. Not relief, fury. He missed it. He's in a hotel chasing investors while a stranger gives his boy back something he thought was gone. Paige reaches under the wheelchair seat cushion like she knows exactly where to look. She pulls out a small black pouch Preston has never seen before. She holds it up to the light, studying it, turning it over in her gentle hands. Preston's stomach twists. How does she know it's there? Even through the screen, he can't stop watching her fingers. Careful, patient. The way they move. The attraction hits him like guilt, like betrayal to the woman he buried, like something he has no right to feel. He needs answers. Have you ever carried guilt you can't explain? Comment, I understand, and your country. Would you confront her tonight or wait for proof? Drop your answer below. Preston's finger hovers over the talk button on the camera app. One tap and his voice fills Wyatt's room. One tap and Paige knows he's watching. Does he speak to her while she's alone with his son? His thumb trembles. Preston lands in Connecticut at 4:18 a.m., still wearing yesterday's suit. Eyes burning like he rubbed them with sandpaper. No sleep, just that pouch spinning through his mind for 6 hours. The mansion looks perfect from the circular driveway. 12 bedrooms, staff quarters, manicured hedges that cost more than most people's cars. It looks alive, feels dead. Preston walks through rooms that smell like furniture polish and emptiness. The only place with warmth is Wyatt's room. Toys scattered just right. A nightlight shaped like a moon. Drawings taped crooked on the walls because Paige lets Wyatt point where they go. Preston finds her in the kitchen pouring coffee she probably needs after working overnight. She doesn't startle when he appears in the doorway. We need to talk, Preston says. Paige sets the pot down slowly, meeting his eyes. About the pouch. His jaw tightens. How do you know about a crash? I worked at a small airfield in Colorado. I heard things. What things? Maintenance logs. Weather delays. A charter that shouldn't have flown. Her voice stays steady, but her neck pulse hammers. Preston hates himself for noticing. I didn't hunt you down, Mr. Hale. I applied for a job. You hired me. You refused to explain how you knew about that pouch. Because I don't owe you my trauma as rent. The smell of lemon cleaner hits Preston from the countertop behind her. Fresh scent, old pain. His wife used to clean when she couldn't sleep, scrubbing until her hands smelled like chemicals and exhaustion. Preston pulls his phone out. I have cameras in Wyatt's room, hidden ones. I've been watching you. He expects her to quit, to scream, to prove she's hiding something by running. Paige just nods once. I know. You know? I assumed. Billionaires don't trust easily. She picks up her coffee. Are we done? No. Preston's voice cracks harder than he means. You're not leaving this house until I know who you are. Paige walks toward the service hallway without answering. Preston's phone flashes. An alert. Another device is viewing Wyatt's camera feed right now. Not his phone. Someone else. The remote login shows an office location in Manhattan. Corporate building. 14th floor. Not residential. Preston's security chief can't identify the device. The IP address bounces through layers that take money and skill to hide behind. Whoever is watching Wyatt isn't some random hacker. They're organized. If the wrong person has that footage, Wyatt becomes leverage. Custody becomes a weapon. The crash investigation that finally closed could rip back open with one leaked clip. Preston corners Paige in the hallway outside Wyatt's room. Did you hack my system? No. Swear it. I don't need to swear anything to you. Paige crosses her arms. But I didn't. I wouldn't risk Wyatt like that. Then explain the pouch. Paige glances toward Wyatt's door, then back. Her voice drops. I sit on the floor with him because that's his world now. Wheelchairs put you lower than everyone else. People talk over you, past you, like you're furniture. I don't do that. I get on his level because his pride matters. Preston steps closer without meaning to. That's not an answer. It's the only one you're getting until you stop interrogating me like I'm the enemy. The space between them feels electric. Wrong. Wanted. Paige doesn't back up. She just lifts her chin, holding his stare, and Preston's pulse kicks hard enough to hurt. He forces himself back a step. I'm running an internal check, Preston says. If someone in my company knows about those cameras, I'll find them. Good. Preston pulls the black pouch from his jacket pocket. He's been carrying it since the flight. What is this? Paige takes it carefully, unzips it, and goes still. Inside is a memory card. Handwritten label in block letters. Wyatt, 8 minutes. Her face drains white. Preston's chest tightens. What's on it? I don't know. Paige hands it back fast, like it burns. But someone wants you to watch. Preston plays the memory card on his laptop in the study with the door locked. Paige stands behind him because he asked her to stay. The screen fills with video clips from Wyatt's room. Clean cuts. Professional edits. Timestamps that don't match the archived footage Preston has on his secure server. Someone curated moments. Specific moments. Paige leaning close. Paige adjusting Wyatt's blanket. Paige whispering something the audio doesn't catch. Out of context, it looks like obsession. Like she's using Wyatt for something. In context, it's just care. This is a frame job, Preston says. Or blackmail. Paige's voice stays calm, but her hands grip the back of his chair. Someone wants you scared of me. A sound cuts through the house. Wyatt's voice, sharp and panicked. They both run. Wyatt's in his chair near the window, breathing fast, eyes wide. Preston doesn't think. He rushes in and raises his voice. Wyatt, what's wrong? Wyatt flinches. Hard. Paige moves in low and slow, pulling a small toy car from her pocket. She rolls it across the floor, counting softly. 1, 2, 3, breathe. 4, 5, 6, breathe. Wyatt's shoulders drop. His breathing slows. He watches the car. Preston stands there useless, hating himself. The smell of lavender pillow spray drifts from Wyatt's bed, his wife's favorite scent. The one she swore helped him sleep as a baby. Preston's stomach turns. He can't be in here. Paige touches his wrist, guiding him lower. Sit. He needs to see your face, not your fear. The contact lingers one heartbeat too long. Her skin is warm. Her pulse is steady. Preston sits. Wyatt looks at him. Really looks. And something in Preston's chest cracks clean open. You're not leaving, Preston tells Paige. Not until I know who you are. Paige stands. Fine. Start with my real last name. What is it? She walks to the door. I'm not saying it out loud. Not here. Not while someone's listening. Preston's phone rings at 9:03 a.m. unknown number. He answers because everything feels like a threat now. Mr. Hale, this is Rebecca Thorne with the Hartford Register. Did you record your disabled son and household staff without their consent? Preston's blood goes cold. No comment. We have a source claiming you violated privacy laws and... He hangs up. By 10 a.m., the board schedules an emergency session. By 11 o'clock, his rival Brent Caldwell is pushing for temporary removal for stability. By noon, the story is online with a headline that makes Preston sound like a monster. The scandal spreads fast. Legal exposure. Custody risk. A corporate coup wrapped in concern. Brent Caldwell smiles through the video call like he's doing Preston a favor. Step back. Let cooler heads manage the transition. It's for Wyatt. Preston wants to reach through the screen and break something. Pause. What would you do? Protect your child quietly or tell the truth and risk everything? Comment your choice and your country. At 2:47 p.m., Child Protective Services arrives at the mansion with a police escort. They have a video clip. Edited. Short. It shows Paige's hand near Wyatt's arm. A flinch. A moment that looks like pain. The officer's voice is professional and final. "We need to speak with Ms. Sutter separately." Paige changes into a plain sweater after spilling water on her shirt. Preston catches himself staring at the way the fabric moves, the shape of her collarbone. He looks away immediately, shame and want slamming together in his chest. The officer plays the clip on a tablet. Preston's throat closes. It looks convincing. It looks real. "Ms. Sutter, can you explain this?" Paige stays calm, gentle. She won't fight in front of Wyatt. She won't scare him. Preston almost breaks. Then Wyatt forces sound out. Rough, painful, the first words he's spoken in weeks. "She didn't." Everyone freezes. The officer leans closer. "Didn't what, son?" Wyatt's hand shakes, but he points at the screen. "Lie. Would you like me to adjust the tone, pacing, or intensity before continuing to the next sections?" The uniformed officer steps forward, voice flat and practiced. "Ms. Sutter, we need you to step aside while we speak with the child." Paige's face goes pale, but her hands stay steady. She won't fight. She won't raise her voice. She won't give Wyatt a reason to be scared. Preston's chest tightens watching her sacrifice herself to keep his son calm. The edited clip plays again on the officer's tablet. Out of context, it looks damning. Paige's hand near Wyatt's shoulder. A flinch. A grimace that could be pain. Preston knows the truth. He watched the full footage. Wyatt was reaching for a toy on a high shelf, and Paige stopped him before he tipped the wheelchair. The flinch was frustration, not fear. But the edit is clean, professional, convincing. Preston almost breaks right there. The officer's radio crackles. Sharp static bursts that cut through the room. Wyatt flinches with every sound. His breathing speeds up, shallow and panicked. Paige moves without asking permission. She kneels, getting low, making herself small. Then she looks at Preston and whispers 6 words that hit him like a command he can't refuse. "Get on the floor. Now." Preston drops. No hesitation. He doesn't know why he obeys so fast. But the way she says it, calm, certain, absolute, goes straight through him. Wyatt's breathing slows when he sees them both at his level. The CPS agent watches, confused. "Mr. Hale, you don't need to." "Yes, I do." Preston's voice comes out rough. "I put cameras in my son's room, hidden ones. I've been recording everything for months." The room goes silent. The officer's pen stops moving. "You admit to surveillance without consent?" "Yes." Preston meets the man's eyes. "I was scared. I was failing as a father. I thought watching from a distance was safer than being present. I was wrong." Paige's expression doesn't change, but her hand shifts slightly closer to his on the floor. Not touching, just there. The CPS agent closes her folder. "Mr. Hale will need access to your full video archive. All of it." Preston's stomach drops. The footage doesn't just show Paige. It shows him. Every absence. Every night he worked late instead of reading bedtime stories. Every moment he chose the company over his son. It shows him as the father he's ashamed to be. Does he hand over everything, including the proof that could destroy him? The CPS team leaves with a court order and a timeline. Preston has 72 hours to produce the full archive or face contempt charges. He takes Paige to his private study and locks the door. "Tell me the truth," Preston says. "All of it." Paige sits in the chair across from his desk, hands folded, voice steady. "I worked at a small airfield in Colorado. Dispatch and light maintenance coordination. Nothing fancy." "Which airfield?" "Rocky Mountain Regional. Private charters, cargo runs, emergency medical transports." She pauses. "The night your wife died, I was on shift." Preston's breath stops. "I heard things," Paige continues. "Maintenance logs that didn't match the departure checklist. A weather delay that got overridden by someone with money. Details that never made it into the official report." "Why didn't you say something?" "I did. To my supervisor. to the FAA hotline, to anyone who would listen. Her voice hardens. Then the harassment started. Online. Phone calls. Someone posted my address with a caption calling me a liar who blamed dead people for my failures. I had to disappear. Preston stands, anger flooding him. You hunted me down. Used my grief to get close to Wyatt. Paige stands too, matching his energy. Your pain doesn't own the truth. I didn't hunt you. I survived. I changed my name, moved states, and tried to rebuild. When I saw your job posting, I applied because I'm qualified, not because I'm obsessed. They're too close now. Close enough that Preston can see her pulse hammering in her throat. Close enough to smell the faint scent on her hands. Something sharp and chemical. Jet fuel. Her hands smell like jet fuel when she's nervous. Preston's stomach tightens. You're lying, he says. But his voice drops without meaning to, low and intimate and dangerous. I'm surviving, Paige whispers back. Her breath shakes once. There's a difference. Preston steps back, forcing distance. He pulls out his phone and texts his external cyber contact, the firm he hired when the company's security failed him. The response comes fast. Hack trail confirmed. Infrastructure access points to corporate servers. Someone inside your executive suite created the breach credentials. Preston shows Paige the message. She reads it twice. Someone in your company wants me framed and you distracted. Or both of us destroyed. Preston's phone buzzes again. New text. Same cyber team. Update. The intruder used credentials created under your executive suite. Created by an admin account registered to. The message cuts off. Then, call me. Don't text. This is bad. Preston walks into the emergency board session at 9 a.m. sharp. 15 faces turn toward him. Some neutral, some sympathetic, most calculating. Brent Caldwell sits at the far end of the table, looking relaxed. Too relaxed. The room greets Preston like a liability. Gentlemen, Preston starts. And ladies, one of the newer board members corrects, her tone clipped. Preston nods. I know why we're here. Let's not pretend this is about governance. It's about optics and fear. Brent leans forward, voice smooth. It's about stability, Preston. Your personal crisis is bleeding into company operations. Investors are asking questions. The CPS investigation creates risk we can't ignore. Risk you created. Brent's smile doesn't falter. Careful. Grief makes people say things they regret. The vote moves fast. A motion to temporarily remove Preston from active decision-making. 12 votes needed to pass. Brent's allies speak first, each one framing it as compassionate leadership transition and protecting shareholder value. Preston's throat tightens. He reaches for the glass of water in front of him. It tastes wrong, metallic, bitter, like the glass hasn't been cleaned properly. He can't swallow it. Through the glass doors of the boardroom, Preston sees Paige waiting in the hallway. Security wouldn't let her in, but she stayed anyway. Their eyes lock through the pain. No words, just heat, just a silent question. Do you trust me enough to burn it all down? Preston stands. I'm stepping down. The room goes quiet. Temporarily, Preston adds. Under one condition. I want a full forensic audit of our internal systems, and I want a court injunction to trace the origin of the surveillance breach. If this company is compromised, we all pay the price. Brent's smile tightens. That's a scorched earth move, Preston. Yes. The vote passes. 12-3. Preston gathers his files and walks toward the door. As he passes Brent, he glances at the presentation screen still showing the timeline of events. Something catches his eye. A gap. 8 minutes missing between the timestamp on Brent's opening slide and the security log printout. 8 minutes. Brent smiles like he won. Preston smiles back. Preston drives home in silence. Paige sits in the passenger seat, not asking questions, just present. When they reach the mansion, Preston doesn't go to his office. He doesn't pour a drink or make calls or strategize next moves. He goes to Wyatt's room. Paige is already setting up the evening routine, soft lights, the lavender spray, toys arranged within reach. Preston sits on the rug for the first time since the crash. Back against the bed frame, legs stretched out, staying present. Wyatt stares at him, surprised. Paige hands Wyatt a toy car, the red one with the black racing stripe. Your dad's here to play. Show him how you win. She sets up a simple game. A ramp made from books. A finish line marked with tape. Wyatt gets to race the car. Preston has to catch it before it hits the wall. Simple, gentle, designed to let Wyatt succeed. Wyatt rolls the car. It speeds down the ramp. Preston catches it, but just barely. You're fast. Wyatt's mouth twitches. Almost a smile. They play for 20 minutes. Wyatt wins every round. Then Preston's voice cracks. I'm sorry, Wyatt. I should have been here. I should have been on that floor with you every single day. And I wasn't. I'm sorry. Wyatt doesn't answer, doesn't nod, doesn't smile. But his fingers squeeze Preston's hand once. Tight, real. Preston almost breaks. The smell of the rubber toy car hits him. Sharp and nostalgic. Like the beach trips they used to take before everything shattered. He bites the inside of his cheek to stay steady. Paige watches from the corner. Her gaze drops to Preston's mouth for half a second, then away. Fast, like it scares her. Preston's phone buzzes. Text from the cyber team. Confirmed. The edited CPS clip was exported from a corporate workstation in Manhattan. IP trace matches your company's Midtown office building. Preston shows Paige. She reads it, then says quietly, I need to tell you one more thing. What? That black pouch. I recognized the style. It's a crash response kit used by a specific airfield contractor. The same company that handled your wife's flight. Paige stands in the hallway the next morning, suitcase packed, face set. I'm leaving, she says, for Wyatt's sake. Preston steps in front of the door. No. The scandal follows me. CPS, the press, you're bored, they'll use me to destroy you. If I go, the story dies. If you go, Wyatt loses the only person who brought him back to life. Paige's jaw tightens. I won't be kept by a billionaire. I'm not a solution you can buy. I'm not trying to keep you. I'm asking you to stay. Preston's voice drops. You're the only adult in this house who treats Wyatt like he matters. He can't lose that. He can't lose that. They stand too close in the quiet hallway. Morning light cuts through the window, painting everything gold and fragile. Preston reaches out slowly, gently cups her elbow. Can I? Yes. The permission is soft. Dangerous. Paige doesn't pull away. The silence between them turns heavy. Intimate, unwanted, wanted all at once. Preston's thumb brushes the inside of her wrist. Her pulse is racing. If you want part 2, Preston says quietly. Tell me now. Should I trust you fully or test you first? If you want part 2, comment stay and tell me your country. Should Preston trust Paige fully or test her first? Paige opens her mouth to answer. Preston's phone buzzes. New email. Subject line. Stop digging or Wyatt pays. He opens it. The message is short. One line of text. One attached image. The image shows the inside of the mansion. The hallway. Taken from an angle none of Preston's cameras cover. Someone is inside the house right now, and they want Preston to know it. Preston stares at the email on his phone, hands shaking. The image shows the upstairs hallway, his hallway, shot from a position his cameras don't cover. Someone is inside the house right now, watching, waiting. He pulls up the mansion floor plans on his laptop. Scrolling through the architectural drawings his wife insisted they keep updated for insurance. There, near the old service staircase, a dead zone. A blind spot where the camera angles don't overlap. Paige stands close behind him, looking over his shoulder. Her perfume drifts forward. Something light, maybe vanilla. And Preston hates himself for noticing it right now, during a threat, while someone stalks his home. His body doesn't care about timing. They can come and go, Preston says. No footage. No proof. Which means they've been studying your security for weeks. Paige's voice stays calm, but her hand grips the back of his chair. This isn't random. Preston cancels every meeting on his calendar. No travel. No public appearances. He calls the security company and demands new protocols. Checkpoints every hour, external guards at every entrance, motion sensors in the dead zones. Then he locks the mansion down. No one in, no one out. His phone buzzes. Alert from the home alarm system. Silent test triggered. Admin account. exec_override_04. Preston's stomach drops. I never created that account. Paige leans closer, reading the screen. Who has admin access? Just me and the head of corporate security. The man who reports to Brent. Preston meets her eyes. The pieces are falling into place. Ugly, sharp, undeniable. Someone inside his company built a backdoor into his home. At 2:14 a.m., a door clicks softly in the service wing. Preston jolts awake in his office chair, where he fell asleep watching the security monitors. Wyatt's baby monitor on the desk shows his son's eyes wide open, staring at the ceiling. Preston runs. He reaches Wyatt's room in seconds, heart slamming, expecting the worst. Paige is already there, sitting on the floor beside the wheelchair, voice low and soothing. It's okay, buddy. Just the house settling. You're safe. In the dim glow of the nightlight, Preston grabs Paige's wrist by reflex. Too hard, too fast. She doesn't pull away, just turns her head slowly and whispers. Ask. Don't take. Preston releases her. Sorry. Don't be sorry. Be better. He scans the room. Wyatt. Paige. Toys in their usual spots. Nothing out of place. But the hallway outside feels wrong. The air tastes different, recently disturbed, like someone just walked through. Preston steps into the hall. Empty. Silent. The floor is clean. Too clean. He kneels, running his hand along the baseboard. His fingers catch something small and sharp. A maintenance badge. Fresh laminate. His company logo stamped in blue and silver. The badge is warm. Someone wore this minutes ago. Paige, Preston says quietly. Get Wyatt. We're moving him to the master suite. Now. She doesn't ask why. Just nods and starts gathering Wyatt's essentials. Preston holds the badge up to the light, reading the ID number stamped on the back. If an intruder is testing Wyatt's room, the next visit won't be a test. It'll be a move. Preston locks Wyatt's new setup in the master suite and returns to the study with Paige. He's done playing games. Tell me your real name. Paige sits across from him, hands folded. Paige Sutter isn't the name I was born with. I know. You told me that already. What is it? She's quiet for a long moment. Then she stands and walks to Wyatt's room, now empty, but still full of his presence. Paige kneels beside the wheelchair, even though Wyatt isn't in it. She whispers something soft. A name. Preston barely catches it. Then Wyatt's voice drifts from the master suite down the hall. He's repeating it under his breath, practicing the syllables like a secret he's been trusted with. Preston watches the bond between them and feels jealousy burn through his chest. Hot, irrational, completely unjustified. Paige catches his expression. Earn your place. The words hit harder than a slap. I want the full truth about Colorado, Preston says. Everything. Paige stands. I'll tell you if you stop spying and start showing up. Delete the app. Prove you're done hiding. Preston pulls out his phone. Opens the camera monitoring app. Finger hovering over the uninstall button. It's the only way he's felt connected to Wyatt for months. The only way he's known his son is safe. It's also a lie. A crutch. A way to avoid being present. Preston deletes it. The app icon disappears. Paige nods once, then pulls her own phone from her pocket. She opens an old screenshot. Something she's been carrying for weeks, maybe months. A work order. Crash night maintenance log. Dated the same day Preston's wife died. At the bottom, in the approval chain, one name stands out in bold. Brent Caldwell. Preston's blood goes cold. He approved maintenance on that flight? He approved the payment, Paige says, which means he knew about the part swap. Preston's lawyer calls at 7 a.m. with bad news. Emergency hearing. Family court. CPS is pushing for temporary custody limits until the investigation concludes. They can't do that. They can if they argue your judgment is compromised. The lawyer's voice is careful, measured. The hidden cameras give them a clean narrative. Wealthy father under stress. Unstable decisions. Child at risk. Preston wants to throw the phone. Instead, he listens to Paige explain what he needs to say in court. She sits beside him at the kitchen table, voice low and steady. Don't talk about your money. Don't talk about your company. Talk about Wyatt. Talk about being his father. Preston tries. The words stick in his throat. I can't. Paige steps closer, fixing his tie with careful fingers. Speak like a father, not a billionaire. They want to see you love him. So show them. Her hands linger at his collar. The contact is professional, intimate, necessary. Preston's pulse kicks. Then his phone buzzes. News alert. Headline: Billionaire's secret caregiver. Planted maid or opportunist? The article is brutal. Paige's photo. Her fake name. Speculation about her motives. Anonymous quotes calling her calculated and dangerous. Brent's PR machine is in full swing. Preston's lawyer calls again. They're escalating. If we don't settle, Wyatt could be moved to a medical facility for observation. Over my dead body. Preston, listen. A text interrupts. Private number. Short message. Drop your audit or the next clip goes public. BC. Brent Caldwell isn't hiding anymore. He's declaring war. Preston and Paige check into a discreet New York hotel under fake names to meet the cyber forensics team away from the mansion's compromised security. Room 412. Corner suite. Quiet. They're inside for 3 minutes before someone slips an envelope under the door. Preston grabs it, tears it open. Inside, printed stills from Wyatt's room. Paige kneeling. Paige adjusting blankets. Paige leaning close. Each image captioned with accusations. Obsessive behavior. Inappropriate attachment. Predatory grooming. The photos are real. The context is poison. Paige stares at them, face draining white. Her hands shake. For the first time since this started, she breaks. They're going to destroy me. Preston asks quietly, Can I hold you? She nods. He wraps his arms around her, and she lets herself collapse into him for 10 seconds. 20. 30. Then she pulls back. Don't confuse comfort with ownership. The line is sharp, clear, a boundary she won't let him cross. Preston respects it. If you've ever been judged for caring, comment stay and your country. Should Preston expose Brent now? Or wait and trap him? Drop your answer below. Paige sits on the edge of the bed, wiping her eyes. I need to tell you something about that first night. The whisper you saw on camera. Preston waits. I said, you were supposed to take me too, but I wasn't talking to Wyatt. Who were you talking to? Whoever was listening. Paige meets his eyes. I was supposed to be on that charter flight. Last-minute schedule change pulled me off the manifest. Your wife died. I didn't. I've carried that guilt for 8 months. And I thought. Her voice breaks. I thought whoever caused it might still be watching. Preston's world tilts. Paige was supposed to die that night. Someone saved her. Or someone needed her alive. Paige drives them to Queens the next morning in a rental car Preston paid cash for. No GPS. No digital trail. They park outside a garage that looks abandoned. Rusted sign. Cracked windows. Weeds growing through the concrete. But the door opens when Paige knocks 3 times. An old man answers. Late 60s. Oil-stained hands. Eyes sharp as glass. Paige, he says. Not her fake name. Her real one. Ray. This is Preston Hale. Ray nods once. I know who he is. Come in. The office is cramped. Filing cabinets stacked to the ceiling. The smell of old paper and motor oil hangs heavy. Preston moves past Paige to look at a map on the wall, and his hand brushes her lower back by accident. She freezes, then murmurs 2 words. Not here. The restraint burns hotter than a kiss. Preston steps away, jaw tight. Ray pulls a folder from a locked drawer. Inside is a single photocopied page. Yellowed, wrinkled, but legible. Maintenance log from the night of your wife's crash. This page went missing from the official file before the FAA investigation. Preston scans it. His hands shake. They're halfway down. A notation about a last-minute part swap. Hydraulic pressure valve. Replaced 40 minutes before takeoff. Who ordered it? Preston asks. Nobody ordered it. Ray taps the paper. Someone approved the payment after the fact. That's how they buried it. Made it look like standard maintenance. Preston's throat closes. This proves sabotage. It proves negligence at minimum. Maybe murder. Ray's voice drops. But I won't testify. I've been threatened before. Anonymous calls. Photos of my grandkids. I can give you the paper, but I can't stand in front of a judge. Paige leans forward. What if we protect you? With what? Money? Lawyers? Ray shakes his head. The people who did this have both. They'll bury me, and you won't be able to stop it. Preston studies the signature at the bottom of the payment approval. The name makes his stomach drop. Ray points at it with a gnarled finger. Caldwell didn't order the swap. He approved the payment, which means he knew the part was bad, and he let that plane fly anyway. This could prove sabotage, but it also paints a target on Wyatt and on everyone helping Preston chase the truth. If Brent killed to bury this once, he'll kill again. Brent calls Preston's cell at 10 p.m., voice smooth and friendly like their old college buddies. Preston, we need to talk. I have nothing to say to you. Then listen. I'm offering you a clean exit. Step down from the CEO seat. Take a generous severance. Focus on Wyatt. Let the company move forward. Preston puts the call on speaker so Paige can hear. She sits across from him in the study, face calm, eyes fierce. You mean let you bury the truth about the crash? Brent laughs. What truth? A grieving husband chasing conspiracy theories? That's not a story, Preston. It's a breakdown. I have the maintenance log, the part swap, your payment approval. Silence. Then Brent's voice shifts, colder, sharper. This isn't about money, is it? Preston says. You want control of the aircraft division. You want access to the flight records so you can destroy evidence. I want stability. The board wants stability. Your obsession is costing us contracts and investor confidence. Preston starts to respond, anger rising. Paige reaches across the desk and presses her fingers to his lips. Silent command. Intimate. Risky. Preston goes quiet. Brent has allies on the board. He has people inside security. He has lawyers and PR teams and enough money to make problems disappear. If Brent wins, he buries the crash truth forever and destroys Paige publicly to tie up loose ends. Let's meet, Preston says. Private. Just us. That's a terrible idea. Then you're afraid. Brent pauses. Fine. My office. Tomorrow. Noon. My house. Tomorrow. 6 p.m. No lawyers. No assistants. Just you and me. Another pause. Deal. Brent hangs up. Paige removes her hand from Preston's mouth slowly. He's going to bring someone. I know. And you're still doing it. Yes. Preston's phone buzzes. New text. Brent's number. Wyatt is safer when you stop looking. The threat is clear. Back off or Wyatt becomes the next target. Preston deletes the message and meets Paige's eyes. We end this tomorrow. Wyatt sits in his wheelchair near the window the next morning, staring at the toy cars lined up on the sill. Preston watches him, looking for any sign of communication. Then Wyatt moves. He taps the red car twice, sharp, deliberate. Then he points toward the service hallway, eyes fierce. Paige drops to the floor beside him, getting eye level. What do you remember, Wyatt? Wyatt's hand trembles. His mouth works, struggling to form words. Paige waits. Patient. Present. Metal, Wyatt whispers. Smell. Preston's chest tightens. When did you smell metal? Wyatt points at the calendar on the wall. The date CPS came with the fake video. Paige's voice stays calm. The night of the clip. You smelled metal in your room. Wyatt nods. Like tools? Like a car. Wyatt shakes his head. Like a vent. Wyatt's eyes lock on hers. Yes. Preston watches emotion flood through him. Pride, guilt, hope. Paige catches his expression and says quietly, "Tell him you're proud." Out loud. Preston kneels. His voice cracks. "Wyatt, I'm so proud of you. You're helping us. You're so brave." Wyatt doesn't smile, but his hand reaches out and grabs Preston's sleeve. It's enough. Preston pulls out his phone and checks the mansion's HVAC maintenance logs. The service vents are controlled by the central system, logged automatically. He scrolls to the night of the edited clip. There, 2:47 a.m. An access point near Wyatt's room shows a manual override. Someone opened the vent from inside. Someone climbed through. Someone was physically present in Wyatt's room while the fake video was being created. Wyatt's memory isn't trauma. It's testimony. The intruder was there, close enough for Wyatt to smell the metal on their tools or their clothes. Preston's phone buzzes. Text from the cyber team. Vent access logs match the same admin credentials from the alarm system. Someone in your corporate chain has full building control. Preston hosts a charity planning meeting at the mansion the following afternoon. He invites 8 board members, 3 senior executives, and Brent's closest allies. The message is clear: business as usual. No more accusations. No more drama. It's bait. The cyber team sits in a van 2 blocks away, monitoring the silent honeypot they planted on Preston's camera network. Any login attempt triggers an instant trace. Security has been reshuffled without warning. New guards. New protocols. No one from the old team remains. Paige wears a simple navy dress. Not to impress anyone, but to look untouchable. She moves through the room serving coffee, answering questions about Wyatt's care, deflecting personal attacks with calm professionalism. Preston can't stop watching her. The way she commands respect without demanding it. The way she refuses to shrink. She catches him staring. One small smile, then it's gone. A board member, older woman, sharp tongue, corners Paige near the kitchen. "You must be so grateful Mr. Hale took you in. Not many men would hire someone with your history." Paige sets down the coffee pot. "My history is surviving. I don't need gratitude for that." Preston watches from across the room, fists clenched. He wants to intervene, to defend her, to make the woman apologize. But Paige handles it herself. She always does. The meeting runs 2 hours. Pleasant conversation. Fake smiles. Performance. Then Preston's phone vibrates. Silent alert. The honeypot triggered. Someone just tried to log into the camera system. Right now. From inside the house. Preston's heart slams. The cyber team texts. "Tracing now. Username. C_Taylor_1982. Taylor. Preston's late wife's maiden name. The login attempt came from a phone connected to the mansion's guest Wi-Fi. The cyber team narrows it down, 2nd floor, east wing, near the bathrooms. Preston scans the room. 3 people are missing. One comes back from the restroom. Then another. The 3rd doesn't return. Preston excuses himself and heads upstairs. Who tried to log in using his dead wife's name. The trace hits a Midtown office suite, shell company address, tied back to Brent's private legal counsel through 3 layers of corporate paperwork. Preston sits in his study with the forensic evidence spread across the desk. The sabotage proof, the hacked feed logs, the payment records, the vent access, all of it pointing to one man. Brent Caldwell orchestrated everything. Preston prepares to go public. Full exposure. Press conference. Law enforcement briefing. He'll burn his reputation if he has to, but the truth will come out. Paige stops him at the door. "If you do this, they come for me first. Brent's team will frame me as the accomplice. The planted employee. The one who helped you fake evidence." Preston turns. "What do you want me to do?" "I want you to ask the right question. Which is, do you want me to stay?" The question hangs between them, heavy, intimate, impossible. Preston steps closer. "Yes." Paige pulls him to her. Hard. Fast. One kiss that feels like a decision, not a request. Her hands grip his collar. His arms wrap her waist. It's not soft. is not gentle. It's war declared in the only language they have left. She pulls back first, breathing hard. Then let's finish this. Comment your country and say who you think is using Preston's wife's name. Subscribe if you want Section 3 because the next move decides who gets arrested. And who gets Wyatt. Preston's phone lights up. New message. I can prove who paid for the part swap. Meet me alone. The sender's name makes Preston's blood freeze. It's Paige's real name. The one she buried. The one only a handful of people know. Someone is wearing her identity. And they want Preston alone. The text on Preston's screen burns into his vision. I can prove who paid for the part swap. Meet me alone. Sender. Paige's real name. The one she buried. The one only a handful of people from Colorado know. Preston shows her the phone. Her face drains white. Someone has my old identity. They know everything. Paige's voice stays steady, but her hands shake. They know where I came from, what I changed, who I was before. Preston wants to call the police, file a report, lock the doors and wait for professionals. Paige steps into his space in the study, palm flat against his chest. Not pushing, holding. The contact is heat, control, permission all at once. If we run, I look guilty, she says. If we hide, they win. We go, but on our terms. They could hurt you. They've been hurting me for months. This ends tonight. Preston makes the call. Decoy car leaves through the front gate, his driver, security guard in the passenger seat. Preston and Paige slip out through the service entrance in a rental sedan no one knows about. The cyber team tracks them remotely. Body cameras hidden in jacket buttons. Backup units staged 3 blocks from the meeting location. The text specifies an address. Public parking garage downtown. Top level. Midnight. Paige buckles her seatbelt and stares out the window. If this is a trap, it's built for you, not me. What do you mean? I'm bait. You're the target. Whoever this is wants you isolated, angry, and desperate enough to make a mistake. Preston's hands tighten on the wheel. Then we don't make mistakes. They drive in silence through empty streets. The city looks different at night. Harsher, colder, full of shadows that could hide anything. Preston glances at Paige. Why did you really come work for me? Because Wyatt deserves someone who shows up. And because I needed to know if the crash was an accident or something worse. She turns to him. I got my answer. The parking garage stands empty under harsh fluorescent lights. Top level. Wind cuts through the open sides like knives. Preston parks. Kills the engine. They wait. No one appears. Then Paige's phone vibrates. Text message. Turn around. They spin. The space behind them is empty except for a maintenance cart someone left near the elevator. Old mop bucket. Cleaning supplies. Nothing threatening. Preston steps toward it. Inside the cart, hidden under dirty rags, sits a laptop. Screen glowing. Already powered on. Already logged into Preston's home camera feed. Live view of Wyatt's room. Preston's blood turns to ice. They're watching him right now. Paige pulls Preston behind a concrete pillar as a figure in a maintenance uniform and face mask bolts from behind a parked car. Running fast toward the stairwell. Preston chases. His legs burn. His lungs scream. The masked person hits the stairs and disappears. Security cuts them off 2 floors down. Too late. The person is gone. Preston doubles over, gasping. Paige reaches him, breath coming hard. They're proving a point, she says. They can access Wyatt whenever they want. We can't stop them. Then sirens. Police cars screech into the garage entrance. Lights flashing. Officers exit with weapons drawn. One approaches with a warrant. The photo on it is Paige's face. Not Preston's. Paige's. Preston's stomach drops. Someone called this in. Someone tipped the police that Paige would be here. Someone framed this meeting as proof of her guilt. The officer's voice is cold. Ma'am, you need to come with us. The interrogation room smells like industrial cleaner and old coffee. Paige sits across from 2 detectives. One older, one young and hungry for a promotion. Preston stands outside, watching through one-way glass. while his lawyer fights to get in the room. The warrant cites financial exploitation and child endangerment. The language is clean, professional, built for headlines. The older detective slides photos across the table. Stills from Wyatt's room. Paige kneeling. Paige adjusting blankets. Paige whispering close to Wyatt's ear. These show a pattern of inappropriate attachment, the detective says. A caregiver using access to a vulnerable child to manipulate a wealthy, grieving father. Paige's voice stays calm. Those photos show me doing my job. Your job? Or your agenda? My job. The younger detective leans forward. You changed your identity. Moved states. Applied for a position in Preston Hale's home months after his wife died in a crash you claim to know details about. That's not caregiving. That's hunting. Preston watches through the glass, fists clenched. The questions match Brent's boardroom talking points word for word. Someone fed the police a script. In the stairwell outside, Paige and Preston get 3 minutes alone while the lawyer negotiates. Paige looks him in the eye, voice quiet but fierce. Do not rescue me. Stand beside me. The intimacy of it hits Preston harder than any kiss. Not a plea. Command. A boundary. Partnership. What do you need? Preston asks. Bodycam footage from the parking garage. Proof we were lured there. And the cyber trail showing who called the tip-in. Preston triggers his lawyer's emergency motion. The bodycam footage gets preserved under court order. Paige is released 2 hours later, no charges filed. But the damage is done. Outside the station, someone livestreams her face with a caption. Billionaire's fake nanny exposed. Full story coming. The post gets 10,000 shares in 15 minutes. They return to the mansion at 4 a.m. exhausted. Shaken. Angry. Wyatt's door is open. Just slightly. Paige stops in the hallway. I closed that door. I always close it all the way. Preston checks the security footage. The camera shows the hallway, but there's a blind gap again. 2 minutes where the angle doesn't cover the door. Whoever keeps getting in knows the system better than Preston does. They enter Wyatt's room together. He's asleep, breathing steady, safe. But something feels wrong. Preston reaches for Paige's hand as they walk back to the hallway. She allows it for 3 steps. Then let's go first. Boundary. Longing. Power. I need to sleep near his room, Paige says. Just for tonight. Preston's chest tightens. People are already accusing you of. I don't care what people think. I care about keeping Wyatt safe. The optics. The optics are already destroyed. Someone live-streamed my face an hour ago. Let me do my job. Preston nods. Guest room across the hall. It's yours. Paige starts moving her things. Preston does a final sweep of Wyatt's room before bed. He checks the toys, the books, the wheelchair. Then he sees it. A new toy car on the windowsill. Red with a black racing stripe. Same brand Paige uses for therapy. Except Paige didn't buy it. Preston picks it up. The underside has a small white sticker. Price tag from a store Paige has never shopped at. Someone else put this here. Someone who knows exactly what Paige uses with Wyatt. Someone who wants Preston to doubt her. Preston books a flight to Dallas. Same hotel. Same room. Same chair he sat in months ago when this all started. He pulls up the camera feed on his laptop. Restored after Paige convinced him transparency matters more than control. But this time, he's not hiding behind the screen. He's using it as bait. The cyber team pings him. Intruder login detected. Active right now. Source: Brent's legal office, Midtown. Someone is watching Wyatt's room at this exact moment. While Preston watches them watching. Paige stands behind Preston's chair, fingers resting lightly on his shoulders. Not possessive, just steady, trusting him, claiming nothing, offering everything. Preston's chest tightens with something he can't name. Comment your country and tell me, would you expose Brent instantly, or set a trap to protect Wyatt first? Drop your answer below. We go public, Preston says. Live board session. Law enforcement waiting. Every piece of evidence on display. They'll come for me first. I know. That's why you're sitting in the gallery where everyone can see you. No shadows. No secrets. Just truth. Paige's hands tighten slightly on his shoulders. Then we do it together. Preston books the board session for tomorrow. Emergency vote. Full attendance required. Then Paige speaks quietly. I need to tell you something about that first night. The sentence you heard me whisper. Preston turns. Wait. I was supposed to be on that charter flight. My name was on the manifest. Last-minute change pulled me off. Shift swap. Mechanical issue. Something. Your wife died. I didn't. Her voice breaks. I whispered to whoever was listening because I thought maybe someone saved me on purpose. Maybe someone needed me alive for later. Maybe the crash wasn't random. Preston's world stops. Paige was supposed to die that night. Someone pulled her from the flight. Someone kept her alive. And now someone is using her to destroy Preston. Preston opens his laptop in the study and plays the two videos side by side. Left screen. The CPS clip showing Paige supposedly hurting Wyatt. Right screen. The raw archive from the same timestamp. The difference is surgical. 8 minutes missing. 8 minutes that change everything. In the raw footage, Paige stops Wyatt from tipping his wheelchair while reaching for a toy. She's protecting him, not hurting him. The edited version removes context, removes truth, removes her innocence. The cyber team sends a new file. Export logs recovered from Brent's legal counsel workstation. The metadata is clean: file name, render date, IP address, device ID. Everything points to one location. Brent's office. Brent's computer. Brent's crime. Paige stands beside Preston, rehearsing what she'll say when they go public. Her voice cracks halfway through. She stops, hands shaking. Preston asks quietly, "Can I hold you?" She nods once. Soft. Dangerous. He wraps his arms around her. And for 30 seconds, the world narrows to just breathing and presence. Then she pulls back. Eyes dry, shoulders straight. Let's finish this. The emergency board session is scheduled for 2 p.m. Brent's allies delay the vote 3 times. Pushing procedural questions, demanding recesses, trying to stall until markets close. If Brent wins the vote before Preston can present evidence, he controls the company systems. He controls the aircraft division records. He controls the narrative. He buries the crash truth forever. Preston checks his watch. 1:47 p.m. Then his phone buzzes. Text from the mansion. From Wyatt's tablet. 3 words typed slowly, painfully, with all the strength an 8-year-old boy can summon. Vent. Metal. Man. Preston's chest cracks open. Wyatt remembers. Wyatt saw. Wyatt is testifying in the only way he can. Paige reads the message over Preston's shoulder. Her hand finds his. Squeezes once. He's braver than both of us. Preston forwards the message to his lawyer with one instruction. Subpoena the vent access logs. Today. Now. The board session starts in 13 minutes. Brent thinks he's won. He's wrong. Preston corners his security chief in the mansion's garage before the board session. The man looks tired, scared, cornered. Who went into the vents? Preston's voice is cold. Final. The security chief's hands shake. I was following instructions. From who? Silence. Say his name. I can't. Then you're going to jail for him. The chief breaks. Corporate sent the order. Executive override. I didn't ask questions. I just opened the access panel and looked the other way. Brent Caldwell. The chief doesn't confirm. Doesn't deny. The fear in his eyes confirms everything. Paige steps between them, hand on Preston's forearm. Not pulling him back. Just lowering him. Touch instead of words. Power instead of violence. Preston's rage cools to something sharper. Colder. More useful. You're fired. Effective immediately. Security escort off the property. If you talk to anyone, press, lawyers, Brent, I will prosecute you for conspiracy and child endangerment. The chief nods. Defeated. Preston turns to leave. Then the man speaks one more time. Your wife tried to stop this. Preston freezes. What? The night before the crash. She called corporate. Asked questions about the maintenance approval. Someone told her to mind her business. The chief's voice drops. That's why she had to go. The words hit Preston like a bullet. His wife didn't die in an accident. She died because she asked questions. She died because she got too close to the truth. Brent didn't just approve negligent maintenance. He silenced the one person who could have stopped it. Preston walks to his car in silence. Paige follows. They have 45 minutes to get to the board session. 45 minutes to end this. The retired mechanic hands Preston a folder in the back of his Queens garage. Inside is the missing page from the crash night maintenance log. Photocopied, yellowed, wrinkled, but readable. Payment approvals. Shell vendor invoices. Wire transfers routing through 3 dummy companies before landing in a private fund controlled by Brent's side channel. This proves he knew, Preston says. It proves he paid for silence. The mechanic taps the signature line. That vendor doesn't exist anymore. Dissolved 2 weeks after the crash. Clean exit. No trail. Paige studies the numbers. How much? $40,000 for the part swap approval. $200,000 for the cleanup crew. Another $500,000 spread across 5 offshore accounts. Preston's stomach turns. His wife's life. 5 other passengers. Pilot. All bought and buried for less than $1 million. This isn't corporate negligence. This is murder disguised as weather. They drive back to Connecticut in silence. Halfway there, Paige breaks down. Not loud. Just quiet tears she can't stop. I should have been on that flight. I should have died with them. Preston pulls over, cups her cheek, waits for permission. She leans in, forehead to forehead, breathing together. You survived for a reason, Preston whispers. You're here because Wyatt needs you, because I need you, because the truth needs a voice. I'm so tired of carrying this. Then let me carry it with you. They sit like that for 5 minutes. Then Paige's phone buzzes. Video message. Unknown sender. She opens it. The screen shows Wyatt asleep in his bed. Filmed from inside his room. Recent, tonight, based on the pajamas. Caption. Don't go live. Someone is in the mansion right now. Someone is threatening Wyatt. Preston calls the house. No answer. He drives 90 miles per hour back home. Preston walks into the emergency board session wearing a wireless mic connected to the cyber team's recording system. Every word will be documented. Every accusation will be preserved. Brent sits at the far end of the conference table, looking relaxed, confident, like he's already won. 15 board members, 6 lawyers, 2 federal investigators waiting in the hallway. Preston doesn't sit. He stands at the head of the table and plugs his laptop into the main display. I'm going to show you something. Then I'm going to let law enforcement ask their questions. Then I'm going to watch some of you resign. He plays the dual timestamp proof, the CPS clip beside the raw archive showing the 8-minute mismatch. Then the export logs showing Brent's workstation as the source. Then the Midtown office trace linking the hacked feed to Brent's legal shell company. Then the shell payment records from the mechanic's missing page. One chain. One story. One killer. Brent's face stays calm. This is grief-fueled paranoia. You're manufacturing a conspiracy because you can't accept that accidents happen. Preston moves to the final file. Vent access logs from the mansion, showing executive override credentials used the night of the fake video. Wyatt saw you, Preston says quietly. He remembers the metal smell. He remembers the man in the vent. Law enforcement enters. 2 agents. Badges out. Brent stands. This is harassment. Paige rises from her seat in the gallery. Every eye turns to her. She speaks one sentence. Quiet. Precise. Deadly. The part swap was a Bendix servo valve, model 447C, replaced with a refurbished unit flagged by the FAA 6 months prior. Only 4 people knew that detail. 3 are dead. I'm the 4th. The room goes silent. Paige continues. You killed them to bury your cost-cutting scheme. You killed Preston's wife because she asked questions. You framed me because I survived. Brent lunges for Paige's phone because it holds the final file, the one piece of evidence that connects him directly to the vendor payments. Security tackles him before he reaches her. The agents move in with handcuffs. Preston watches Brent Caldwell get arrested for conspiracy, fraud, and 7 counts of negligent homicide. But it doesn't feel like victory. Not yet. The police take Brent away in handcuffs. The board dissolves into chaos. Lawyers start talking about liability and settlements and corporate restructuring. Preston walks out. He drives home, parks, walks through the mansion's front door, straight to Wyatt's room. Paige is already there, sitting on the rug, legs crossed, waiting. Wyatt is awake, staring at his toy cars lined up on the windowsill. Preston doesn't ask permission, doesn't hesitate. He sits down beside Paige, back against the bed, legs stretched out. No cameras, no distance, no barriers, just presence. "Hey, buddy," Preston says softly. "Can I read to you?" Wyatt looks at him, studies his face, then nods once. Preston picks up the book they used to read every night before the crash, the one about the train that could. He opens to the first page and starts reading. His voice cracks twice. Paige's hand finds his knee, steadying, not rescuing. Wyatt listens, really listens. When Preston finishes, Wyatt's fingers reach out and grab his sleeve. "Hold on. Don't let go." Preston stays on that floor for an hour, then 2. Later, after Wyatt falls asleep, Preston and Paige stand in the hallway, exhausted, relieved, changed. Preston speaks first. "Can I kiss you?" Paige doesn't answer with words. She pulls him close, slow, tender, earned. Not heat, not desperation. Just 2 people who fought through hell and came out breathing. Fade to black. If the story hit you, like, subscribe and comment your country. Plus tell me, was Preston's biggest mistake the cameras? Or abandoning the room? Preston learned something that night. Something he'll carry for the rest of his life. Love isn't watching your child survive from a distance. Love isn't hiding behind screens and money and control. Love is sitting on the floor and staying.